frontier is defined as uncharted territory by land or ocean. Those who chart that territory tell a story. The past illustrates the blueprint for the present, how things are and how they've evolved. From land to water, we are challenged to border that new frontier, a frontier the outdoorsman knows like no other. Author Gary Lewis works his way along that edge of where discoveries, failures, and achievements have written the story of the sportsman.
Yes! Yes!
From state to state, continent to continent, the stories told create the foundation of the present, and they lay the framework for the future. Through the muzzle fire and on the stone are stories from the edge.
Water is the most important thing as far as Indians are concerned, 'cause that's life.
The past is written, the present is here, and this is Frontier Unlimited.
This season, Malheur and Harney counties are the hot spots. The further south and east, the better. Another option is the Chutes Canyon, or the breaks of the Snake.
1995 is when I got out of college and started thinking this was a good career choice. If I was doing something else, I could probably retire soon, and it doesn't look like I'll be retiring anytime soon. So,
well, I don't want you retiring anytime soon.
we can go
It doesn't need to be
down there by the fuel tanks, and we can throw right there. Just shoot a few.
We hunted Sage Canyon Outfitters, east of Maupin, on a brisk November morning. Stephen and Molly Weimer followed Lewis out.
There was an opportunity to buy a rafting company here locally in Maupin, and we did that, and this place was available or came up for sale, and my ranch partner and I decided that we'd take a run at it, and that was in 2002, so we've been here for 17 years.
Bob Crine was standing at the campfire when Lewis and crew rolled in.
Missed the second.
Pull. Pull. We're gonna try.
I got it full.
Okay,
I'm ready.
you're on fire. So when you say pull, you let that thing get out there. You just point the barrel at the
Cheek right on the gun, so like
Okay.
that.
Oh, for me, I'm just like nervous about how am I going to get that gun to hit that bird. This is my first hunting trip, so I love it. It's great.
Gary's dog's gonna be on the field and point, and we don't work for the police force. So policemen go like here, and go here. Hunters usually go here, and come here. So as you're approaching the dog, you don't want to do this. Because then if you trip and fall,
Right.
it's a bad stuff.
It's great to shoot a few clay pigeons before the hunt starts so that you can assess how you're shooting, and then if there's any bad habits, we can fix them right away, make some improvements, make sure everybody's got their guns up in the air when we start out on the hunt, and proper finger position relative to the trigger. Kind of breaks through the ice, gets the jitters out. Nice. Good job.
I looked up dog training, got involved with NAVDA training, and decided to get with them and have NAV to help me train her. So we went to numerous trainings, and then we went through the NAVDA testing. And it was a great experience. She learned a lot. I learned a lot because I had never trained a dog before.
You guys are hunting with pointing dogs, so obviously you're going to be close action. I'm assuming you flush your own birds. I'd watch the self-defense shots as you come up. That bird's coming right at you. You know you might need to.
So when we go in on a point, walk in with the gun like this, on safe. And you leave it on safe until the bird flushes, and then you pick out the bird you want, and then you shoot.
Crine sketched the hunt for the crew. Down a canyon, along a creek bed, to the old homestead. They followed their dogs into the edge of the burn.
Maybe after we let them go here, then one of us can go across the creek. Wait. Break a leg.
Okay, Molly, go ahead and pop a couple. Go by itself.
In the canyon, in the head-high ryegrass and silver sage, they quickly lost sight of the two poodle pointers, 6-year-old Liesel and Weimer's 2-year-old Ruby.
Look for Liesel. I think she's on point.
Right there's. Wait. Good hold, Molly. Good job.
No bird.
Ruby.
No bird.
Ruby. No bird.
The rooster gave them the slip.
Ruby, here.
Another chucker streaked out of range.
Here. I think she's down in some water.
Steve, maybe you get out in the road.
Up. Where's the birds?
Good girl.
2 chucker rocketed out ahead of the crew and left the canyon over the brow of the hill.
No bird.
No bird. We could ease up there.
Yeah.
One, you guys stay down low. I could ease up there.
Let's do that.
More than likely, it's going to fly right down.
Yeah.
Or it's going to run.
And then after we do that, then let's kind of circle back and come back this way.
Okay. Here.
We saw a rooster hit underneath that rim rock right there, so we're going to let Steve go up there with Ruby, and then we'll just wait. Sometimes we walk a little too fast, and then we go past the birds, and so this is really thick cover. We gotta go a little slower, I think. There we go. Come here, girl. No bird.
I get up there, and it's kind of tucked in. It's under rocks, I can't see it. It takes off, so I take a quick shot, hit the tail feathers, and it just blew out of there.
This was Liesel's 6th hunt of the season, and it had been 8 months since Ruby had been in the field. Best case, the dogs would work together, and the younger might learn something from the older dog. Liesel stayed close. Stephen picked his way along the canyon wall while Molly and Lewis stayed tight behind the dogs.
Ruby, find the bird.
Oh, Liesel got it.
I had so much fun with Liesel the times we went out on her first hunt. I had so much fun, and she's such a good dog, and nothing's been better than to get that dog.
Drop it, drop it, drop it. Good girl. Good dog.
There you go.
Who got this one? I did. Wow.
I was waiting for Molly, and that one was flying away, and this one flew right over my head.
Liesel quartered up one side of the narrow draw, back down and up the other side, 20 to 30 yards ahead.
Tweety birds.
Okay.
I couldn't shoot because of where the people were. That one came right out of here, went straight at us, went straight at Molly, and then out over Steven. I think it got away. That was a bomber.
When 4 birds flushed to 4 directions, Lewis knocked one down, and so did Stephen.
My daughter had moved out and took her golden doodle with her.
Yeah.
So we were dogless. So we went ahead and got a poodle pointer, and I wouldn't trade it.
Fixed in memory
All right.
is the picture of a young black poodle
Excellent.
pointer, rock solid, with Liesel locked up, honoring the younger dog's find.
Liesel, here.
We hunted Sage Canyon Outfitters, east of Maupin, on a brisk
for his
November
dog.
morning.
Anything that goes to the left.
Stephen and Molly Weimer followed Lewis out.
Right there, right there. Okay, she's on point.
When she stopped,
Up there.
she locked up hard,
Whoa.
her head angled 45
Whoa.
degrees left, 1 foot off the ground,
Ready? Get it. Good shot.
tumbled to a load of 7
Pick
and
it
a
up, girl.
halves, and Molly Weimer collected her first chucker over the pup she had trained.
Hunt him up. Up, swing.
Liesel, here. Come on.
Come on, Ruby. Let's go get a bird. Good girl.
Good job. She's solid right there. Whoa, girl. Whoa. Whoa.
Stay there. Nice shot,
Still
Gary.
another one.
Molly's ready.
Come on. Good girl. Good dog.
Ruby.
The crew set up for one last hunt up a draw near scars of a grass fire last season that threatened the range's cover
Right there.
and history.
Good girl. Oh, yeah.
I love the outdoors, so I just love to be out here hiking with the dog, and I love to be with the dog. So I trained the dog, so it's kind of fun to be able to watch her
That's a pretty one.
in action to see what she can actually do.
What you want on your wall, isn't it?
That's what I want on my wall.
Your dog will be pointing it all the time.
Ruby and Liesel continued their streak, pointing and flushing birds that were determined to fight or flight.
Right there. I think that's your bird there. Liesel, this way. Dead bird. Trust the dog. Trust the long nose. Okay, let's work our way up there. See if we can bump that bird. We were distracted by other birds. She's flagging there. Maybe there was one there earlier. Look at Ruby. Yeah.
Liesel and Ruby worked up and down the slopes, pointing, flushing, and retrieving Chukar.
Son of a gun. I can see it.
Right there. Good dog.
Good girl.
Good girl. Right here. Fetch it up. Right here. Good. Drop it.
Shooters would swing and press the trigger. Some would hit, and some would miss among the old structures in wheat country.
Well, that was great.
Headed north in the Ford, from Maupin to the Dalles, they passed fields planted to winter wheat. They checked in at Celilo Inn when headed for pizza at Freebridge Brewing, owned by Steve and Lori Light. Steve Light used to be a guide for trout and steelhead on the Deschutes River before he settled down and became a brewmaster.
From brewing it to kegging it, 2 weeks, it's done. Lagers take a lot more time. There are very little hops in them to start with, so it's really important to have a high quality beer body to start with. And the lagering process is cold, and it just takes a little bit longer. It takes approximately 6 weeks to make a real qualified lager beer versus 2 weeks. So a small brewery like myself, it's a real crapshoot to put a beer in a tank for 6 weeks. And it might not turn out. I mean, that's the reality of it, because you can't just hide everything with, giant hops that the area is so well known for. But we knew that if we were going to bring in our local farmers, that we needed to create a beer that was familiar to them. They don't want 6.5% beers. That was just, they want to drink a bunch of them. And you buy half racks, cases of beer. So we had to produce a beer that was in that 4% range where they could actually have several of them. And also tying in some part of the agriculture that's in this area. So we were able to take the local soft winter white wheat and turn it into a beer. Now, once I was able to do that and prove to that segment that we could do this, they just fell in love with it.
When a friend can't join on a Chukar hunt, the least you could do is take the Chukar to his restaurant. Chef Ramsay at Jul's in downtown Bend, Oregon, had prepared a meal to implement the Chukar to the dinner table.
You have that Chukar.
I have the Chukar, but I cooked some Chukar up today. So what we got here, we have everything ready for our one-pot meal today of Chukar. And what we do in the culinary terms, we call it mise en place. And mise en place means everything in place. So we have our Chukar clean, and we slice it in little strips. And we have chanterelle mushrooms, Oregon chanterelles, and these are pre-cooked with little shallots and butter. We got some shallots. We have some prosciutto, some basil, garlic, peas, walnuts, black pepper, butter, and heavy cream, some bow tie pasta, and chicken stock. Preheat the pan a little bit. We're going to add a little olive oil so the butter doesn't burn. If you add straight butter, it tends to burn faster. So the prosciutto here, I'm going to crisp up the prosciutto. We're going to use this in the end as a garnish over the pasta. It's going to get kind of nice and crispy. And we're going to garnish our plate with it. Prosciutto is really lean and it won't take long. It'll add flavor to the bottom of the pan. So we're going to pull the prosciutto out. A lot of people say, the hunting game, Chukar, pheasant. The thing about it is that people have to understand what they're working with. It's very lean. So bacon is a good substitute. Butter, cream, it's so lean that you really have to kind of cook it with some fat to kind of penetrate, keep it moist, and then know the cut. You can't, for instance, take the leg and put the leg in a pan and sear it or grill it. And we try to keep our pieces all even size. We're not going to use all this garlic. We're going to use a couple, like about a good tablespoon in there. It moves fast, and if you walk away from it, the garlic burns. And if the garlic burns, it gives a bitter taste to the sauce. So we're going to add our chanterelle. And another thing too is you have a little bit of meat chucker, pheasant, whatever. Adding mushrooms, chanterelles are optional. You can add button mushrooms, you can add morel mushrooms, and you can omit the mushrooms if you want. I like to kind of do it, it kind of makes the dish go a little bit longer, different textures. When you get like big and heavy like me, you can't chase those chucker, you only get 2 or 1. You can stretch that, you want to stretch that meal.
Those mushrooms can't get away from it.
You can do a little salt and pepper. We're gonna do about a cup of chicken stock. Heavy cream. You'll notice we're gonna bring it to a boil. Don't worry about getting too runny because once you have your pasta, the starch in the pasta will also thicken up a little bit more. This basil. You know, the cooking is the saying too, add as you go. You can add it. If you put everything in there too much, a lot of times you can't take it out. And what we say, like in the cooking term, recipe is just a guideline. It's really a guideline for what you're doing. You can look at it as a guide, you can kind of adjust as you go.
There's just something that is right about putting peas in a chucker dish.
Right?
And I don't like peas in just about anything else.
Oh, okay.
But you know, it just makes so much sense going in here, you know.
Yeah.
Because of what that you find that they're eating
right.
when you find them out there.
This is a dish we do at camp a lot. Chucker camp or grouse camp. It's kind of our signature fall dinner around the campfire.
This is almost like having you out there on the hunt.
Right?
You were supposed to be there.
I know.
I'm glad we're here now.
It hurt me, Gary. It hurt me.
I know.
We don't want to take away too much from the chucker. Let the chucker stand out. That's it. Welcome.